Hello students, so we are going to continue with induction machine design, and today we are going to see a new concept, that is dispersion coefficient. Okay, so before knowing what is dispersion coefficient, we need to understand two more things. Okay, so for induction motor there are two major factors which affect the power factor. Okay, first one is the magnetizing current, which is Im, or sometimes we write I mu. Okay, so if the magnetizing current of a motor is increasing, then its power factor is decreasing. You know the relation between the magnetizing current also with no load current. Okay, so they have direct relation with power factor, that if magnetizing current of motor is high, power factor is going to be poor. Second one is the ideal short circuit current. That is ISC, or sometimes it is ISCI. Okay, ideal short circuit current. So it is defined as the current drawn by the motor at a standstill position if the resistance is neglected. If the ideal short circuit current of a machine is large, it means that its leakage reactance is smaller, and the large value of a short circuit current, okay, it shows that a power factor is good. Okay, so this is the relation with magnetizing current and power factor, and ideal short circuit current and power factor. So this is a new term for you, dispersion coefficient, and it is defined, okay, based on these two parameters. Okay, so dispersion coefficient is defined as the ratio of a magnetizing current to the ideal short circuit current. It is the ratio of Im and ISCI. It is denoted as the symbol of sigma. Okay, and according to the definition, as it is the ratio of magnetizing current and ideal short circuit current, we can say that the dispersion coefficient is Im divided by ISCI. Okay, and if you want to calculate the ideal short circuit current, okay, at a given voltage, then we can calculate it by one simple equation. Ideal short circuit current ISCI is ES upon XS, where XS is the total leakage reactance of the motor referred to the stator side. When we draw the equivalent circuit of induction motor, okay, or even for transformer also it is same. The reactance of an entire machine referred to the primary or referred to the stator. Okay, so ISCI is ES upon XS, the supply EMF, and the reactance. So we can put this thing over here, and we can get sigma is Im, the dispersion coefficient, is equal to Im upon ES divided by XS, or it is similar as Im into XS divided by ES. Okay, this equation is also true. So if I mu or Im and XS are small, the value of a power factor is going to be good. Okay, according to the relation with Im and ISI with the power factor, we can say that. Thus, the small value of a dispersion coefficient means that a good power factor, while large value of a dispersion coefficient means that poor value of the power factor. Okay, so we can say that they are inversely related. Okay, less is your dispersion coefficient, it means that cos phi is higher. Okay, and if high value of dispersion coefficient indicates that cos phi is lower. Okay, so this is the relation. Okay, now we are going to see the effect of a dispersion coefficient. Okay, so the first parameter we will select is the power factor. Okay, in a detail let us see what how we can see this relationship. Okay, so effect of dispersion coefficient on maximum power factor. Okay, so it is not power factor, it is maximum power factor or maximum value of power factor that you can get. Okay, so this relation says that less is a dispersion coefficient, high will be cos phi, and according to this relation. Okay, but over here we are talking about maximum achievable power factor. Okay, the maximum power factor that we can achieve. Okay, we are talking about maximum power factor which is achievable by your induction machine. Okay, so for that we have to understand first the simplified circle diagram of induction machine. Okay, simplified means we are going to simplify the circle diagram that we have seen before. Okay, simplified version of that. Okay, so if we recall it, we do have voltage axis like this vertically. Okay, we are not going to draw the line which separates this horizontal line to determine the Fick's laws. Okay, so directly we are going to draw the circle over here. Okay, as I told you, it is the simplified circle diagram. Okay, means simplest version of a circle diagram. Okay, and we can indicate the center of the circle is over here. Okay, so this is the voltage axis, this is our circle. Okay, and how we can get the power factor. So this is the voltage phasor. Current phasor will start from origin, okay, at any locus of this. Okay, so over here I am going to draw the tangent from origin, okay, to this circle, so that we can get the minimum value of a phi. Minimum phi means maximum power factor or maximum cos phi. Okay, so this is the tangent like this. Let us say over here this is the point I am getting the minimum value of a phi. Okay, phi minimum. Okay, if phi is less, cos phi is high. Okay, that is why we are going to do this. Okay, now if I draw the line over here, that is going to give me the input power. Okay, I can drop one line like this. Okay, and let us say this is the operating point, and at operating point the value at which I am, or this is the value of the current at which I am getting cos phi. So this indicates the input at that particular time. This is not the input at a particular time, but at some other value of the short circuit current. Okay, now let us indicate all the points. Let us say O is the origin, A is the starting point, and B is the ending point of my semicircle. So obviously this is the diameter, and half of that it is radius. Let us indicate D over here. Okay, so we can say that AD is equal to DB. Okay, both are similar, they are the radius. Okay, similarly this is also a radius from starting D to F. Let us say this is F. So DF, it is also the radius. Okay, because it is from center to the point of a semicircle. Let us indicate H over here, and let us indicate the drop down point G over here. Okay, and if you apply the law of trigonometry, then again we are going to find that this angle is going to be phi minimum. Okay, so we are going to utilize this simplified circle diagram to understand the effect of dispersion coefficient on the maximum power factor which is available. Okay, so now from this circle diagram, let us indicate the parameters which we are going to use. Okay, so over here if you see, then OA, it is the magnetizing current. OB, it is the ideal short circuit current. Okay, so automatically my dispersion coefficient becomes OA upon OB. Okay, so we are going to use this relationship later, that dispersion coefficient is OA upon OB, and maximum power factor is obtained when the line OF, it is the tangent to this circle. Okay, or I can say that when the angle OFD, it is 90 degree. When this angle is 90 degree, or this is the tangent to this circle, I can get the maximum power factor. Okay, or I can get the minimum phi. Okay, I can get minimum phi. Okay, so let us proceed further. The cos phi minimum. Okay, see over here, angle phi is minimum, cos phi is not minimum. Okay, angle phi is minimum, so cosine of that minimum phi gives you the maximum value. Okay, so this is phi. Okay, so automatically this angle, it is 90 minus phi. Okay, this angle is 90 minus phi. Okay, or I can say that the cos phi minimum is equal to sine angle DOF. Okay, angle DOF. Okay, cos 90 minus phi is sine phi, so sine angle DOF. Okay, so in this triangle, okay, in a DOF, okay, this triangle I'm talking about. Okay, the sine of this angle is given by FD upon OD. Okay, that is FD upon OD, because this is right angle, we have considered this angle to be 9, so sine of this becomes FD upon OD. Now what is FD? Okay, as I told you, FD, it is the radius of our semicircle. Okay, AB is the diameter, so AB divided by 2 is FD. Okay, AB is the diameter divided by 2, it is your radius, so I can write AB divided by 2 instead of FD, and OD. Okay, so what is OD? Instead of OD, I can write down OB minus DB. Okay, I can write down instead of OD. Okay, that is OB minus DB. But what is DB again? Okay, DB is also the radius of our semicircle, and all the radius of semicircle is same as AB. So what I can write down, OB minus, okay, OB minus, I can write down DB, or DB is similar as AB by 2, so directly I will write down AB by 2. Okay, so if I simplify this equation, what I will have, it is the OB minus OA divided by OB, or simply this equation I can write down as AB divided by twice OB minus AB. Okay, from here if I multiply by 2, okay, here and here, okay, twice OB minus AB. Okay, so again, what is AB? AB, okay, AB is OB minus OA. Okay, I am talking about these two, AB and OB minus OA, are that same? Okay, yes. So instead of AB, I will write down OB minus OA. Okay, and twice OB, okay, 2 times this minus AB. Okay, so OB is over here. Okay, I'm this relation. Okay, after multiplying by 2 to this equation, I am getting twice OB minus OA. So this entire length OB 2 times minus 1 time AB. Okay, so that I can write down as OB plus OA. Okay, means OB plus OA. Okay, this much. Okay, so these 2 times minus AB, what is remaining part? 1 time OA and 1 time OB. Okay, and summation of this is over here, OB plus OA. Okay, now if I divide this equation by OB, okay, OB over here and divided by OB over here, what I will have? 1 minus OA upon OB divided by 1 plus OA upon OB. What I did to this equation? Okay, I have divided both of them by OB. Okay, but what is OA upon OB? It is sigma, as I said before. Okay, so simply what this will become? It will become 1 minus sigma upon 1 plus sigma. Okay, so this is the final relationship, that what is my maximum achievable power factor, cos phi m. Okay, this is how the dispersion coefficient and maximum power factor which is available, how they are related. Okay, so if we focus on this equation, okay, we can cross check this thing, that let us take sigma is equal to 0.05. what happens? And let us take sigma is equal to 0.1, means I am increasing the value of sigma from 0.05 to 0.1. This is the first case, this is the second case. So in first case, what is the power factor that I can achieve? So in that case, if you calculate, your cos phi m will be 0.905. Okay, for the first case, and for second case, your cos phi m is going to be 0.8175. Okay, so you can see the effect that if you increase the value of a dispersion coefficient from 0.05 to 0.1, your power factor is going to decrease from 0.905 to 0.8175. Thus, the maximum power factor obtainable in a machine reduces drastically with increase in the value of a dispersion coefficient. Okay, and it is possible to obtain sigma is equal to 0.05, and hence to obtain the power factor which are nearly 0.9 in the machine with 2, 4 or 6 poles. Okay, so this was the first thing, the first effect of a dispersion coefficient, that was on the power factor. Okay, now the second effect is on overload capacity. Okay, effect, or we are going to continue this theory, but we will see the second effect. Okay, effect of dispersion coefficient on overload capacity. Okay, so overload capacity is not new term for you. We already know that the overload capacity is nothing but the ratio of maximum power output to the full load output, means what additional amount of power your machine is going to give. Okay, so that is the overload capacity. Okay, so for that also we are going to take the example of that simplified circle diagram. Okay, if the induction motor is designed to have the maximum power factor at full load, the corresponding output is given by Fg, where Fg is perpendicular to AB. Okay, so let us look back over here. Okay, or we can draw one more circle diagram, simplified circle diagram, particularly for this theory. Okay, so it would be better to understand. Okay, so let us draw that again. the same circle diagram. Okay, the voltage axis, the tangent, okay, the minimum value of the phi, the center D, origin O, then AB, the total diameter, DH, the input at that instant, F, it is the value of the current at a particular point, and G, over here Fg is the power at that instant. Okay, so taking to the reference, okay, let us see this. Okay, so the induction motor is designed so that the maximum power factor, okay, means phi minimum I am getting at this instant. Okay, when I am operating at a full load, okay, this is the same instant where I am having the maximum power factor. So we are talking about that case. Okay, and the corresponding output will be Fg, okay, which is perpendicular line to AB. So this is going to be the power at that particular instant. Okay, so the maximum power output which motor is capable of giving, it can occur when the current is OH. Okay, this thing I am talking about. Okay, and the position of H is vertically above to the line from the point D, okay, here at the center of the circle. Okay, so the maximum power output is given by HD. Okay, so both are different instant. Okay, this instant is for maximum value of the short circuit current. Okay, and after that this instant is for full load. Okay, so both are different current. Okay, for full load and the maximum. Okay, the maximum power that your motor is capable of giving is this. Okay, and at full load the power given is this. Okay, so over here we are just going to understand, okay, the two powers, a maximum power and the power at full load. Okay, and based on that we can understand the overload capacity. Okay, so simply from this diagram I can say that the maximum power divided by full load power or full load output, okay, is nothing but HD upon Fg, means this power divided by this power. Okay, but HD, what is it? Again it is the radius, which is similar as AD. AD is also the radius, so I can write down AD instead of HD, and Fg, okay, Fg. Okay, so over here we can indicate the angle phi over here, phi minimum. Okay, so instead of Fd I can write down, sorry, instead of Fg I can write down Fd sin phi m. Okay, so I have considered the triangle DGF. Okay, from the triangle DGF this is the thing. Okay, so from this equation again FD, okay, this FD is the radius which is equal to AD, so both are going to be the same value and both will be cancelled out. So again I can simplify it as 1 upon sin phi m, which is under root 1 minus cos square phi m. But what is cos phi? Okay, that we have seen in a previous theory. It is 1 minus phi divided by 1 plus phi. So again this equation will become under root 1 minus, instead of cos phi I will write down 1 minus psi 1 plus psi square. Okay, and if you simplify this, you will get 1 plus sigma 2 under root sigma. Okay, so overload capacity, okay, this is the simplified equation relating to the dispersion coefficient and overload capacity. Okay, so again we can do the same practice, that what will happen when I increase the value of sigma. Okay, so let us take similar cases, that when sigma is equal to 0.05, what happens to overload capacity. Okay, so if I put 0.05 over here in this equation, I will get 2.35, means more than twice of the power your machine is able to give. Okay, when your sigma is 0.05, suppose I increase it, okay, it becomes 0.1. Okay, so at that time overload capacity becomes 1.74. Okay, thus the overload capacity of induction motor decreases with increase in the value of a dispersion coefficient. Okay, so this is the relation.